Hello Internet, welcome back to my kitchen. In this video I'll be making some pumpkin soup. I'm using a 6-quart pot on the stove on medium-high heat and adding a tablespoon of oil. In my case, I'm using coconut oil. You could probably get away with using a 4-quart pot for this recipe, but I like to have a bit of extra room so that I can stir vigorously and not worry about slopping the soup out of the pot. Once the oil heats up to where it is shimmering like hot pavement in the summer, it's time to add some ingredients. I'll start by sauteing a cup of carrot and a cup and a half of onion. When the onion starts to turn a little translucent, it's time to add the spices. Here I'm adding a 1/4 cup of minced elephant garlic. I bought it just to see what it was like, and it's much more mild than regular garlic. I'd recommend using 2 tablespoons of regular minced garlic instead. But in case you were wondering why I would add that much garlic, it's because it's actually just 1 clove of elephant garlic. Now I'm adding a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. You can adjust this to your taste though. This is just the amount I like. And now I'm adding about 1/3 of a teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. Again, you can adjust the amount to your taste. Also, you don't have to stir in between each ingredient. I don't know why I did. Just habit, I suppose. Next, I'm adding 1 quart of homemade stock. If you want to keep this recipe vegan, you could totally use vegetable stock. I already had chicken stock in my refrigerator, so that's what I'm adding here. And I'll let this simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes to finish cooking the vegetables before I add 1 large can of pumpkin puree. Once I get the pumpkin puree mixed in really well, it's time to add 1 normal-sized can of coconut milk. I'm using light coconut milk, but you could also use regular milk as well, as long as it has some amount of fat content in it, since we're going for a velvety, rich soup here. I'll let that simmer for an additional 10 minutes to help develop the flavors a bit before I turn off the stove and use a blender or a stick blender to change the soup to a smooth consistency. I usually prefer to use a stick blender when making a pot of soup since it's usually less messy, but this method does tend to take longer. If you're using a stick blender as well, you'll probably need to blend for about 5 minutes. But then again, this is another thing you can adjust if you want to. If you want chunky soup, you won't need to blend it. Thanks for watching!